pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have our roll call, please?
Gillespie,
Here.
Schmidt,
Here.
Paulson,
Here.
Gibbon,
Here.
Smoney,
Yep.
Hammer, here. All present and accounted for.
Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to review the agenda that was presented here for us? And if we have, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. The minutes are on the back page. Did everybody have an opportunity to take a few minutes to look at the minutes? I'll give you a couple minutes here to. Do we have a motion to accept the previous minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Okay.
Reports, we have the budget report. Terry?
Good morning, all.
Morning, Terry.
Budget report should be on the second sheet of your handout there. Got most of the bills in, so we're sitting pretty good. I think we got just a little bit of money left over here. We got one more pay period to come out yet, but we should be sitting good on that. Any questions on it? I guess I don't really have anything to highlight on the budget. Any questions
Nothing's
on it?
really changed since last time,
No. Yeah, I think, did we meet October? So,
October.
and I think in October, I think I presented you the 24 budget, back then, so. As far as, your guys' pay and stuff, Rhiannon will be watching, so she knows who's in attendance. You'll be getting, that'll just be automatically paid to you with your mileage. Whoops, so. We don't have to sign off on sheets anymore. Just to let y'all know.
Any questions with the this income statement that's presented? Any discussion? If not, do we have a motion to accept the budget as presented?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, spray report. Russ?
Nothing new for spray report, from what I, last meeting. I did some really late spraying, we'll see how that works. Them Canadians were really green late, so I kept going after them, so we'll see what happens.
You get all the new equipment in, this Polaris and everything, all that's
As
good to
far
go?
as equipment, I got a new spray tank and platform, and I'm using the spray equipment off of what I had. Instead of buying a whole new platform, being I had the pumps, I had basically all the hoses and that, I just bought a tank and platform. Then I built it from there, and I got that one done, and the other Ranger, I have some issues I didn't like with that, so I had them both apart and trying to build them identical, just about done with them. I did have the big truck, the flow meter was acting up at the end of the year and they don't rebuild them, so I got one of them ordered to replace that. And the pickup, I want to add a third valve with some of this stuff. I want to try and spray kochia on the shoulders. So after the first of the year, I'm going to try and add another valve to that, be able to spray 30 foot, 20 foot, or 6 foot if I'm spraying just shoulder or partials, just give myself more options. But priority's getting the Rangers done, and I'm just about done with them now.
That's your equipment report?
Yep, that's pretty much what the equipment. Oh, the big truck was gonna wait till after the first year for alignment and that, and looking at tires, and it was chewing them up pretty bad, so we ended up taking up for alignment, and it needed springs and drag link and a bunch of stuff, so it was about 7,000, but yeah, I'm glad we did, or I'd have got into spring and then been in trouble. I was trying to hold off, but, got her done, got it fixed, so that'll be in good shape for the spring.
Okay. We want to go right into trouble spots and then we'll okay all of them in motion?
Yeah, trouble spots, yeah, I usually in the end of January, February, I go through my list from last year and what I've kept over 3 years, and I compile a list, and then come spring, I start watching them and chase the old ones and see what comes for new. But I have the usuals, and actually, they've been pretty good. Some of them, you gotta kind of stay on them a little bit, but they are getting to them. A lot of them with dry last year. I have one that I chased that he sprayed it and it looked like he didn't. It just hot and dry. It's kind of like stuff I did around bridges. You swear it didn't work. So you can push, but if they put the chemical on that didn't work, kind of hard to climb on them too hard, but we're both working on it, so hopefully we get some rain next year.
Yeah, really. So there's really nothing out there open right now on any of these things? Equipment, spray, I know spray's gonna be cheaper next year.
Always cheaper.
Yeah.
I got actually 3 new chemicals to try for trying to get the kochia, but actually on chemicals, some went down, but some went up. And if you look at it across all we use, it was kind of flat. Everything just took a little step, because some went up a bunch, some went down a bunch. And
What are you using on kosher then?
I'm gonna use, X2 and, I know the name. Vista XRT, E2 and Vista XRT. One of them I can put it in with the Vista, I gotta use separate, but the E2, I can put that in with what I spray. So I'm gonna have to kind of pick and choose, like 128's a bad road, the shoulders there, terrible. And that kochia comes every 4 weeks. But I don't wanna spray 30-foot a ditch, that's where we're going to a 6-foot tip, so that's where I'm gonna try that. One of them has dicamba in it, so yeah, get to the middle of June, I can't use that anymore. It's below the rate that's regulated for dicamba, but I'm not gonna go across that line. Well, I'll use that in the spring and then try the other one later on, but that kochia comes all year, and I've got, there's 5 different roads, and it'll be go out, watch them when the stuff starts coming up again, go hit it again, but I'm gonna be careful on the dollars you put into it too. Mower gets some of it, but I'm trying to keep it this big versus that. And we're not alone. They got it terrible out west. I know we're out district, there's kochia is just, it's hard to get rid of.
Especially when it's dry.
Oh, terrible when it's dry. And adding crop oil helps some, but unless you spray in the middle of the night when it's cool and the plant's open, it shuts during the day, the stuff dries up, it don't take it in. And that's what we ran into late last year. I know I sprayed bridges in August. I usually do that, crawl around underneath, and when you can put a pint and a half of Tordon on a sunflower and it puts an elbow in it and comes back, it's like, okay, quit spraying. You're just dumping money on the ground. Frustrating, but I can't throw that money out there.
When, they changed the date on dicamba too, didn't they? It's
Yes, and I
earlier
can't-
now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like 2 weeks earlier?
Is that camp earlier? I believe it.
I think they went from what, June 15th or
First of
June
July
1st or
now?
something?
yeah, I think it's the 1st of
Yeah.
June.
Yeah.
And like I said, this has a dash of dicamba in it, but either way, I'm not regulated by that, but I'm not gonna play the game either. I'm gonna use that up till the cutoff date, and then I'll switch to the other. Just,
It's easier not to use it than argue with people.
yeah, I'm not gonna put us out there. We can get enough chasing. I'm not gonna ask for headaches when it comes deadline, and it's below, but I don't care. I'm staying there.
Are there any questions with any of the reports that was just presented to us? Any discussion?
Did
If
you say
not, do
you
we have
replaced
a- excuse-
the tires on the big?
Big truck.
Big
Yep,
truck.
front tires, it was really cutting into the right tire. And then, yeah, 'cause I always want to pull right, and it was, you might get a year or two out of them, but if we're gonna fix it, let's fix it all at once and get it aligned and everything, so
So is that the one that we hold 1,000 gallons on, or how many?
2,600 gallons.
26.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big load.
Well, I can start at Beersford and I can go to 4 miles north of Lennox without stopping. Or you take pickup and go 6 miles and run back, goes back and forth. So, yeah, you can get a bunch done. So when it's right, you can get over more ground in a hurry.
Too bad, couldn't have got the previous owner to fix it.
Yeah, I tried, but they keep, I tried to take one of their new trucks, but they wouldn't let
They
me.
wouldn't let you have that? Oh,
Terry
man.
kind of put his foot down.
They're watching you.
Oh, yeah, they watch me. I did go over all my roads, just this kind of information. Road miles, it's actually 326 miles for the county I spray. If you take more or less by right of way, it's a little over 2,400 acres. By the time you take acreages out, field approaches and stuff, we spray right at about 1,800 acres of ditch for the county. Each township I spray is in that, lower end is 200 acres, higher end's 250. So, yeah, over the year, it's around 5,000 acres I spray with a pickup.
Wow.
So will the state take care of Highway 18 next year as far as spraying weeds during construction, or how does that work do they work with you on that, or, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some trouble spots, and you know how that is when you
Oh,
have
yeah.
construction of roads.
Highway 18 is a mess, and like this year, you went a mile and a half out, and there was sow thistle 50 yards wide where they didn't plant. During construction, they're terrible at taking care of stuff, and alls I can do is call the state, and then it's up to them. You know,
Okay.
it gets pulled out from under me. And,
Because they own the property until it's done, right?
yeah,
Yes.
and I know in construction, I've dealt with it on a couple of sites up there on the south end of Sioux Falls. Well, we're working this, and well, just knock it down so it ain't blowing around going to seed. Some are good, some are, you might have to go through 18 people before you get anybody, and it's difficult. Yeah, that Highway 18 is gonna be a mess. Other questions for me?
If we don't have any other discussion, do we have a motion to accept these reports that were presented to us?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed. Old business. What do we have for old business here? None.
I don't think so. Did you attend the conference November 2nd in Mitchell?
Yep.
What were some of the highlights of that?
Most part was dry. Spring was good, but you start hitting that June on, chemicals are working poor, if not at all. Koch's nasty one. Nothing really new on new weeds being, pressure on anything. Yeah, that was pretty much the same and, all the way across. As far as state stuff, nothing new is changing or coming down the road. So, basically a general year is what it came out of that one. And like I said, on the chemicals, yeah, some went up, some went down a bunch, so it kind of washes across, depending on what you use. I try and keep 2, 3 different ones. Some will stick with just one. Well, I'm trying to avoid resistance is what I'm doing.
Is that well attended, that conference?
Generally it is, yes, because for the state grant, you have to have one attend that and then two at conference, or you don't, or you get 50% of the grant. So it's kind of their way of getting you to come to.
Do they offer some professional development for you on spraying? I mean, different chemicals and how to use them, or safety on your part? I mean, do they do some Zooms on the computer and things like that? I mean, to make sure that,
They usually have chemical reps from all the different companies there. They'll pick 3, 4 of them that'll show up, and then they give their take on the chemical, what's new, what's working, what ain't. As far as the safety aspect of that, that's pretty much on us, which I chase that down, follow up, and like every year, I go through everyone, the MSDS sheets and chemical labels. I go look to make sure I have the current and correct one, because you have to have that on site. And I guess everybody does their own, but I got every chemical we have and have had for the past few years, I have the MSDS and label for it. So if there is anything, and then make sure I have all the safety equipment and that out there.
You mentioned that grant, is that this weed and pest grant that's on the income statement at $5,100? That's typically what you get every year?
Yeah, generally in that 5,000-6,000, that's about what it amounts to. And we put it down as for chemical. They have a competitive grant, which you gotta write in, say you're gonna do a project or whatever, and then they'll vote whether they will or will not supply to that. But you gotta have a pretty good project for doing that. Some of them chase it really hard and try a lot of, like using bugs and that. And bugs are all right and they work. Problem is the bugs, this is my opinion, they'll argue with me, but bugs will eat down the population of weeds, and the bugs die off and the weeds come back. Because that's what the bugs feed on, like your leafy spurge beetles. Yeah, they'll go in and tear into it and they multiply, and then as they start getting down, well, then the beetles go away and then the spurge comes back. So it's, me, I prefer to put a chemical on it and get rid of it, but they have their place. Yes, they do.
I guess that concludes the old business. What do we have for new business out there? Just the next meeting?
I do believe so, and that's usually,
What's on there besides the pay, and you already discussed that, so it's just the next meeting.
that's generally in March. And that's our annual meeting.
Didn't we set those,
Third Tuesday of March.
didn't we set that, it was always gonna be the third Tuesday?
Yeah, because we're trying to share this space, since we gotta have our meeting here, we're trying to share this with the court systems. And they won't come in, the courts don't use it on Tuesdays. So that's kind of why we've been going the third Tuesday, because that's the non-commission meeting week, so this space should be open to use, so.
What's that date? Somebody
That
know?
will be, I think it was the 19th.
19th?
March 19th, 2024,
At 8:30?
8:30.
Okay. Do we have any other announcements out there?
I do not.
Anything for any of us?
I don't have anything more.
Any of you guys got any questions with anything?
We have, so in February is when you have another meeting coming up, right? Weed conference. So last year, well, actually, not last year, this year, so we only got to send one person. Russ is the only one that went this year. And typically we need to have two. And I know we were struggling towards the end. I think Russ had reached out, maybe a few of you, maybe, did you?
I don't think.
Maybe one.
One.
And someone else to go with him. Basically, the reason is the guy that we normally have doing weeds, they're going to that conference, are doing the weeds with him. We needed all hands on deck with snow, and it just so happened, like the day before, or the day of, we ended up getting a pretty good storm come in, so we couldn't let the one guy go. So this year, we only got to send one guy to that. If you guys are interested in going to that with Russ, please let us know, because again, well, so far we've had a pretty nice winter here so far here, but it's really weird that it's, difference, 9-day difference between last year, but, and typically, usually before, we've always got to send the two guys, but last year was just an extraordinary winter, we just couldn't let that guy go, so, because we needed the help, back home here, so if y'all are interested, reach out to me or Russ. Again, maybe just as a backup type thing. So
Where's that held?
This year it's in, Spearfish.
Spearfish?
Nice drive. Gonna be icy out there.
What kind of time
Hey.
frame?
And you said it's in February?
Do you know the dates on that?
February. I think it's 21, 22, 23.
Is it just called the state conference, or what is it referred to as?
It's the Weed and Pest Conference, State Weed and Pest Conference.
Okay,
First day is half day, you gotta have one person there, that's called supervisor training, and then Thursday's full day all day, and Friday's till about noon. Is what they try to get done by us, because people gotta travel.
okay.
So that would be typically, if some of us went out there, it would only be one day for us probably. Wouldn't be the first day,
Day and a half.
day and a half.
Yeah, the 3 days of it, the first day it takes one person, supervisor training, it'd be Thursday and Friday. Thursday's all day, and Friday they try and finish by noon. And if we don't have blizzard or anything, then, yeah, Monty can go, but last year, yeah, it looked good, and then the day before, well, it took me 3.5 hours to get to Aberdeen. About 15 mile an hour on the interstate, almost to a stop.
And that's on our dime.
And then when you ask them about it, hey, that's the way it is, you gotta have two here, no
Yep.
problem.
Yeah, we did reach out to the state and, said that, we got inclement weather, and a lot of these weed departments are under highway, so, and they're like, well, that's just the way it rolls, So that's kind of why it's year from year, the grant amount will vary, because some counties don't get people to go out. And it could be because of a weather thing, but, or they just don't have anybody to go. So then your grant amount might be more than it was the year before type thing, so.
They take a certain dollar amount divided amongst the county.
Yeah, whoever shows up to the meetings.
So
And they gets to write
where
up.
is it next year? Or not the 2024, but 2025? Where is it that?
That
Oh,
depends, they'll chase, it's been in the middle of the state for like the last 3, part of that was availability of a room.
Yeah.
And,
Time to go to Huron again, isn't it?
yeah,
Here in
It's something they
Mitchell,
bid out, I'm
probably.
sure, don't
yeah, they
they?
bid it out.
Yeah.
They avoid, I do know they avoid Sioux Falls because it is so expensive to rent a venue there. It's just, so it's, Aberdeen, Mitchell, they had partially scheduled there, and then the motel went bankrupt, so it ended up in Aberdeen.
Okay. Any other announcements for us, Terry? or-
That would be it.
That would be it?
That's all I've got. Thank you, guys. I just will say thank you guys, again for serving on this. I know it takes a little bit of time and, I know, it's just tough finding people that want to serve on any kind of board nowadays, but we appreciate that you're taking your time, so.
Thank you. Do we have anything? Anybody want to add anything, or?
We just appreciate your hard work, both of you,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you. Anybody? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.